I'm like half a step inside the door, and Carmen, the casting director, looks at the Duffers and goes, "What do we think of him for this other part? You know, if we decide to go a different way with it."
Before you even got to read?
I literally like half a step in the door, like as I'm walking into the room, she says that. So I'm like, A, they don't want me for this part. B, they don't want me for the other part that I'm going to read for either. So fuck it. I can do whatever I want.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Talent Agent Talk, where we're bringing you educational lessons and real-life stories behind the scenes of TV and film. I'm your host and a talent agent, Jason Lockhart, and today our guest is Randy Havens.
Hi.
Hey, man. You know what's funny? I just had this thought. I should have gotten your Funko Pop and brought it in here.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
You're the first guest we've had that actually has an action figure out there.
I would have signed it for you.
You know what? If you would have signed it, we could have put it on eBay and given the profits to like a charity.
Okay, well, you know, whatever you want to do. I guess sign, you're going to sell it. Jeez.
Well, maybe I need two, actually.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll find one so that I can have you in my office
Great.
at all times.
Great.
What a pleasure to have you here, man.
Thanks, man. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, I've seen your career over the years, and like, I'm going to start with a compliment.
Okay, great. And then finish with an insult.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Okay.
I mean, I thought you were amazing on Stranger Things.
Thank you.
But then when I saw you in Instant Family, and it was so good, and I saw that movie in the theater, I really saw that you had a brand too. And I was like, this guy is not just talented, but really smart and really knows who he is. And that's what I really think leads to consistency.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That was all based on, I think, my initial audition. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to kind of do this a little deadpan for a tape. And then I come in for the callback, and the director's like, no, completely deadpan. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, nothing. Give me nothing. And I was like, great. And that was it. Like, as soon as I did that, they were losing it in the audition. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is perfect for this guy.
Yeah, you were funny every time you spoke.
It was so hard to do. It was so hard to do for an entire, 2 weeks that we were shooting, where I was just like, oh, I can't do anything until like the last day. They were like, okay, you can smile now. To give the that was my character's arc, is he actually gives like a half, like, it's kind of a smirk smile.
He's changed from beginning to end.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about Stranger Things and your audition process a little bit, right?
Of course,
I mean, I'm sure there are a ton of Stranger Things fans out there that are going to see this and like, pretty cool, pretty cool that you've got this story. Take me back to the origin of Mr. Clarke.
So initially, obviously, like a bunch of self-tapes, and at that point, the show didn't even have a name. I think, obviously, it had a name, but what it was being listed as was Untitled Duffer Brothers Project. And I was like, well, I don't even know who the Duffer Brothers are. Once I found out who they are, they'd written some stuff, produced some stuff, and then directed a film. And I saw the film, and I was like, oh, this is great. These guys really, have a voice or whatever. But before I knew who they were, I was just sending in a bunch of self-tapes for just like a bunch of kind of ancillary characters on the show.
Is this like 2016, 2015?
2015. This would be early fall 2015. And one of them was the science teacher. One of them was the principal, assistant principal, something like that. And that was initially what I got called back for, was this assistant principal. So I walk in the door of the callback, and I'm like half a step inside the door, and Carmen, the casting director, looks at the Duffers and goes, what do we think of him for this other part? If we decide to go a different way with it.
Before you even got to read?
I literally like half a step in the door, like as I'm walking into the room, she says that. So I'm like, A, they don't want me for this part. B, they don't want me for the other part that I'm going to read for either. So fuck it. I can do whatever I want.
Wow.
And so I just read for this initial part, and I was like, I think this is kind of the vibe here. He was just kind of just a guy who was like dealing with a lot, like the cops are coming to like talk to kids, and he's like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, he's just very confused and, kind of a little overwhelmed by the situation of like why are the police coming to talk to like middle school children? So I kind of play that, and that's fine. But obviously, I'm like, they don't want me for this. They want somebody else. Clearly,
That sucks. They're not setting you up for success.
The good thing was that I got to just throw it away, right? Which I think is probably what you want to do in any audition, and is just go in and go like, well, this is what I think this character is, as opposed to this is what I think they want from me, right?
Well, good on you for making that choice.
Right. And well, they made it a lot easier. So then they're like, okay, well, we want you to read this other part. So let's get you some sides, and then you can go like just read it. And they were like, you don't have to be off book. Obviously we're just handing this to you. So I just go outside. I look over this other part, and he is a manager at a movie theater. He's Jonathan's boss at the movie theater, but he's also kind of a mentor. He's like, because Jonathan's really into photography in the show. So he's like Jonathan's kind of photography mentor, right? So I just go out. I look over it. I'm like, I'm not going to get, I don't have the prep time to do a real deep dive in this. So I'm just like, what is this guy's deal? Like, I'm just like, oh, it's just like kindness, right? So I'm just like, okay, just open yourself up. This is what this guy's all about. He's very open. Like he's willing to like help. He wants to, kind of foster this kid's curiosity in photography, right? So I go back in, I do that, and just a couple days later, I get a call from my agent. They're like, you got this part. I'm like, awesome. And then, I don't know, a week and a half later, they're like, they cut the part from the script entirely. You are fired. So now I don't have a job.
All that.
And I was like, oh man, that sucks. That's like, you hit that point as an actor where you're just like, why do I do this?
Did it wreck your day?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely. Okay. Completely. Yeah. It wrecked my week, I think. But not too long after that, my agent was like, hey, Chase and Tara want you to come to the table read and read a few things. Would you be available? And I'm like, ugh, I really don't want to, but you know what? I'll do it. And then like a day later, they were like, hey, also, can you turn in an audition for this science teacher? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I can resubmit the audition that I already turned in for the science teacher. And so I was like, okay, so I just like resent them the
That's great that you did it though, because you could have been like, no.
The initial self-tape. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, it's really great that I did it. So I resubmit the tape, and then they're like, hey, really focus on the science. They had me reading a few parts, but they were like, really focus on the science teacher. Like that's what you should like go in and try to sell. And so I go into the initial table read, and everybody's coming into the room, and the Duffer Brothers come in, and they're like, hey, we're really excited to have you play this part. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited to read it for you. Like, completely missing that they said, we're really excited to have you play this part. And I'm just like, yeah, because at this point, I'm like, I'm still auditioning, right? So we do the first table read. So I get to, we get to read like the first 3 episodes of Stranger Things. And I'm like, this show is awesome. This show is like really special. And then the next day we come in, read the next 3 episodes. And that's when Carmen Cuba, the casting director, sits down beside me, and she's like, hey, just so you know, like, this part is yours. Do you know this? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I had no idea. And she's like, that's it. This part's yours. And I was like so stoked. And like the Duffer Brothers come in, and Carmen says, hey, I just told Randy that, he got the part. And they were like, yeah, we told him yesterday. And I was like, I don't understand this industry at all. I don't understand it at all. This is all so confusing to me.
It should go through the agent. It should be in black and white. It should be confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, I mean, I don't believe it until I sign the thing that says we're giving you money to play this part.
I'm with you there.
Otherwise, until they have to pay me, I don't believe them. I've learned that lesson. I've gotten fired before. I've started so many jobs where I'm just like, yeah, I don't believe you at all until you're actually willing to show me a piece of paper that says, here's our signature. We want your signature.
And what a crazy adventure that was. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just a one audition. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you really earned it.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster ride for sure.
Right.
Like, definitely, like a lot of emotions went into that whole experience. But
I love that you never gave up, though, that you consistently showed up for them, even for the table read.
Yeah, I think you have to. Right?
do.
As an actor, like you have to. I had an acting teacher tell me one time, you have to have a thick skin and an open heart to be a good actor. And it's like, right, you can't like let the stumbles and the falls like kill you. So you have to be tough about that. But then, you also have to be open and accepting of everything around you emotionally so that you can be a good actor. So it's a balancing act, but it's a challenge, but I like a challenge.
Well, now you've done numerous seasons as this
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
You know, like, is there anything that you feel like you've really learned through the seasons, or grown as both Mr. Clarke, but also like as Randy, like as the actor playing this like character that the whole world knows?
I think I've definitely gotten more comfortable with bigger things, right? Because it just keeps, just kept getting bigger and bigger every season. And so when I walk onto like a $100 million, $200 million movie, I still go, "Whoa, that's a big set."
Well, yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood directed you. Like, I mean, you've done it a lot.
Yeah, that one's wild. I think the biggest sound stage that I walked onto and went, "Holy moly!" That was a Godzilla movie, and it was just like the entire like up to the ceiling of this place was like set, and I was like, "This is crazy."
But you were comfortable there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah. I think because of what I realized, what was so special about Stranger Things, especially in season 1, was like it just felt like we were like vibing, and everybody was like kind of coordinated, and we were all like bouncing off each other. There was like a synergy, and there was a play, and I was like, oh, if you bring this, then you can't not succeed.
I love that.
And so that's what I try to bring to everything. And even if it doesn't, like, even if somebody's going to roll their eyes at me, I'm like, always just give them something. Always just go, hey, what if we do this? Or what if I do this? I'm not going to tell another actor what to do, and I'm not going to tell a director what to do, but I'm going to say, hey, I had an idea. What if I do this? And just see if we can like get together, if we can get on that area of like play with each other.
Were you as creative and confident before Stranger Things?
No, not at that level. That taught me to like take every opportunity to try to have that sense of play.
Right, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know how big something could
Right.
be, or what your input could be, or
Yeah.
that you could end up an action figure, And it's crazy, like, to see you now. I mean, like, you're unrecognizable recurring on Grosse Pointe Garden Society.
Yeah, that's a fun
And
one as
I'm
well.
excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Is there anything special about that set that you feel like you've learned that could help our audiences?
That one is really fun. That one again, yeah. I just go in and just play, and I'm like, I think it was my first day. I think, and I'm with Josh Ventura. We have such a good dynamic in that show. I'm just like, can these characters just be BFFs forever? So we're doing the scene, and I'm like, and the director like won't even talk to me, and I'm like, great. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And I'm like,
they hired you for a reason.
yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing it. I'm gonna see, because I think initially it was like Josh's coverage, so that gives me a chance to go like, what can I do here? How can I like, what's the fun dynamic here? What's the fun energy here? And so there's like little things that I'm doing where I'm just like. Like looking at my notes and just like really taking my time with the notes, and they kept it in the show, and I'm like, awesome, like great. I'm glad they saw that and went like, let's keep the like him really milking this moment.
Yeah.
So it was great.
It's like a cartoon factor to
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
almost, the way it's even lit, it's almost like very dark. You're like, what are they conspiring?
Right, exactly. Except my character is a complete idiot.
That's all right. Yeah, Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to see where that goes, man.
Yeah. The last 2 episodes are going to be really great. My character has a nice little arc.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of the future too, like, do you have a dream role? Is there something that you like really excited about?
Yeah, I think like playing a murderer.
Like on a limited series, like a real one, or
Yeah,
something?
real one, fake one. Who cares?
Like a serial killer?
Yeah, I think a serial killer would be great.
Oh yeah, that's very dark turn.
Yeah.
For you.
I think, because I think the reason I became an actor is that I am like so curious about what drives people, right? And that's the thing. That's the kind of person I think I'm most curious about, because I'm like, how could you do that? I mean, not that it's a profession, but how do you choose that? Like,
Yeah,
how do
when you know the consequences.
Right.
The consequences are you're probably going to end up dead or yourself or in
Yeah,
jail
exactly.
forever. But you do
Yeah.
it. They do it anyways.
Right. And like, yeah, what is that? What is
Like,
what is
why?
that?
Why are they
Yeah.
doing it?
Yeah. What is that deep down inside? And like you'll never find the answer, obviously. But as an actor, you would get to try at least to like delve into that and find it.
That's super cool, man. Especially because of knowing how good you are at comedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of the greatest comedians, when they get to try something like that and they take it really seriously, there's already like an intense like fan base that's curious.
Right.
There's curiosity, and curiosity sells. So I hope that happens for you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
We'll see
super
what
cool.
happens.
It's great to have you here, man.
Thanks, man, so much.
And you do win a free car for being here.
Oh, awesome.
So
I could
if
use
If
one.
you want to reach your hand in here,
All right,
pull
great.
one out. Don't look though.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
you do get a car.
I'm gonna dig around though.
There's some really cool ones in there.
I'm gonna find the right one. This is the right one right here.
Oh shit, that is a really cool one.
Whoa, this is the Batmobile.
That is the
Whoa,
the
bro.
60s Batmobile.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Where do I? Who wants to see this?
Well,
Where do we
there's
go?
your
Right
camera
here?
right
Oh, yeah.
there. Yeah.
Boom.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, dude, yeah,
Wow.
again, thank you for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Absolutely. And thank you to our audience for tuning in. I mean, really special. We got Randy Havens here. If you have your own cool booking story with a lesson, want to be on the show, pitch it right to us. It's talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Again, that's talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Randy, man, so cool. So cool to hear your story.
Thank
and
you.
I wish you so much success.
Thank you so much.